All right, let's talk a little bit about your carnivore haters, who they are. First of all, World Carnivore Month has officially ended. Today is February 1st. Hopefully, some of you guys that tried it had a good result. I'd love to hear about it in the comments. But let's go on to the haters now. So there's, I guess, three major categories that I typically see. The first category is the largest category before, and these are basically the conformists. These are the people that believe with all their heart and soul that balanced diet is everything. You know, they believe the USDA dietary guidelines, failing to realize that the USDA dietary guidelines, U.S. Department of Agriculture's mission is to sell all their commodities, sugar, wheat, corn, beef, dairy, eggs, fruits, vegetables, you name it. That's their mission. So they're never going to disparage any of those things. They're never going to say anything you shouldn't have. They're always going to say moderation, limit this, limit that, but continue to consume it. So this is, we've also got these people that don't understand that this balanced diet, the so-called balanced diet that we're supposed to eat today, could never have existed prior to even a few hundred years ago, before modern shipping, transportation, and refrigeration. So these people are, often come in many varieties. Sometimes they're the people that want to make nutrition complicated. They've got their own, maybe they're nutritionists or they're gurus that have their own very complicated nutrition that you need to follow them for their advice. And their income depends upon making nutrition complicated so that only they can solve it for you, and therefore buy my product, buy my supplements, on and on and on. Or often they end up younger people who just haven't been around long enough to develop any type of disease, or they don't realize it yet. Maybe they're in their 20s, maybe they're in their 30s, and they're like, and they don't want to give up anything in life. They don't want to give up the blue food and the pink food and the green colored, fluorescent green foods, because they're so lucky to have opportunity to eat all these wonderful flavors from around the world. So you've got that group there, and by far they're the largest. Now the second group, which is much smaller, are the vegans. Of course, the vegans are ideologically opposed to it. They say, oh my God, you ate an animal, how dare you? Meanwhile, growing vegetables and crops literally destroys just entire ecosystems where the animals, which they totally ignore that. They're just like, well, those don't count. We don't care about those. It's like, they're like, well, I'm against murder, but a little murder is okay. I'll do some of it. In fact, their numbers are enormous, but they don't want to realize that, and they'll call you an animal abuser and blah, 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 until they fail, until most of them end up failing with that diet. And the final group are those that tried carnivore and it didn't work out for them for whatever reason. Maybe they just couldn't stick to it. Maybe they were too addicted to sugary foods, and maybe they got lured away. Maybe they became repeaters. They're all this sugar they have to have in their diet, and they see it as perhaps they don't want to see it as maybe a personal failing, and therefore they say that it's just not the right diet. We have to be omnivores, and that's the only reason I couldn't stick it out to do carnivores, because it's just impossible and no one can do that, and you guys are all full of it, and so on and so forth. Or there may be people who saw their performance go down initially as an athlete, and they didn't want to stick it out for the 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 months it takes to fully adapt to that. And so these are the people that are going to give you the most hate. Some of them are quite vitriolic. I mean, some of them are very insulting. Whereas, I will tell you that I personally could care less if you do carnivore or not. All I care about, honestly, is hopefully you find the right thing that works for you. And I think this is something that you will see these people that, will not believe. They'll say, well, or here's the other thing with the ones that maybe they had a result they weren't expecting. Maybe their GFR on their kidney exam went up, and their doctor told them, oh my God, your kidneys are failing, but they didn't have enough sort of resource to realize that was the wrong test. Maybe they should have got cystatin C, which would have completely shown that not to be the case. Or perhaps maybe their cholesterol went up and they got freaked out about that, and their doctor told them, oh my God, you're harming yourself, and they don't realize maybe the significance of cholesterol, as we seem to be learning about that. So there's reasons that people think they failed when perhaps they didn't. Maybe they felt great, but like, oh my God, my lab values didn't align with what I thought. Realizing that, the lab values that we have, that we traditionally rely on, are people that are basically consuming lots and lots of sugars and grains and things like that. And those lab values probably are completely, in many cases, probably not relevant to a person who is, sticking on the carnivorous side. So anyway, let me know, guys, if you've run into any of these so-called haters of these categories, or if there's a new category perhaps I've missed. But anyway, hopefully most of you will realize this. This is not about a war. This is about finding what works for you and doing it as long as it works for you. And I'm the last person that's going to say carnivore is the only way. Carnivore is the best way for every person. Carnivore is what I'm even going to do the rest of my life, because I may change. I mean, as of now, I've got no desire to do so, and I'm happy where I'm at, but I'm not wedded to any particular dogma. But again, you realize that for those that did carnivore for the first time this month and got a great result and feel wonderful and want to continue, you're gonna run into one of these types of haters, and probably many of them over time. The good news is more and more people are waking up and accepting the fact that carnivorous diets are indeed helpful for many people. The literature, like I said, I've talked about this many, many times. We are putting studies together that will help to, hopefully, depending on what the results of the study, I don't want to assume any results before they're done, but hopefully we'll start to show that this is, at the very least, an excellent therapeutic option for many, many people who are suffering from disease. And that's, as a physician, that's what all I really care about. I could care about what you put on your profile, and if you tattoo carnivore on your arm or something like that, I care less about that. All I care about is, as a physician, we have a tool that potentially can help and ease the suffering of literally millions upon millions of people. All right, guys, with that, I'm going to celebrate the end of World Carnivore Month with a couple more steaks. I'm sticking to it. So, as per usual for me, my results, I didn't really lose any weight. I didn't plan on or want to lose any weight. I felt great in the gym. I had one lifetime PR, which is pretty cool. I hit a 501-pound deadlift for 13 reps on a trap bar. I've only been doing trap bar for about 8 years, so when I say lifetime, that's only how long I've been doing it. So stronger now at 57 than I was, say, for instance, at 49. I nearly hit a PR. I'm 5 pounds away from a lifetime PR of the overhead press. I set one American world record on the rower recently. I've got several coming down the road here. So, all right, guys, let me know how you guys did on World Carnivore Month, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.